Fighting suicide is a difficult task because when one wants to die, when one wants to end it all, when one wants the pain to end, there's little other people can say to us. I've been there. I've been there many times in the past, not necessarily in recent times, though there have been times recently where I thought, what is the point of all this? But there were times when I actually tried to die. And in those times, there was very little that could have been said to me. But there are some recommendations that I have that might help you if you find yourself in a similar place that I was in the past, to where I was just right there and I tried to die many times. And what you have to think of is, okay, I feel this pain. I feel downtrodden. I feel stepped on. I feel like life is not fair. I feel that people in my life are not fair to me, and that really, what is the point of me sticking around? And it would be so much better if the pain would just end. When you're thinking that, when you feel that, because I've felt that before many times, you have to look at the fact that, okay, you're only going to be this very one person once. I believe in reincarnation. I believe we're going to come back as different people, but you have one opportunity with this one personality, with this one ego, and you have to make full use of it. You have to take advantage of everything that you truly are, every facet of your being, and decide to be the best version of yourself. Now, this doesn't get rid of your pain, but it gives you purpose. And purpose is what has gotten me through these times, even in more recent times, when I started to think, well, what is the point of all this? I'm in so much pain, and my pain is, I have many problems. Loneliness is one of them. But I have friends and family, but I never really felt like there's somebody exactly like me, or even close to me. And I'm sure many of you have felt that. And if you're watching this and you're thinking about suicide, I'm positive you feel that there's nobody like me to the extent that I feel like I have kin. I feel like I have somebody I can really talk to who understands me, or who I can join with in a boyfriend, girlfriend, or anything in between, what have you. Anyone in between, rather. But it's less about who you can join with as a partner, and more about what you can be satisfied with as far as who you are. Now, we make a lot of assumptions about who we are as people. We decide that it's more difficult to really look at ourselves than it is to just give up. And many people give up in society. The vast majority of people give up in society, regardless of their talent, regardless of their potential. And when people give up in society, they form a society based on what you can give back to society, what the products you can make, the money you can give the company, the money that you can be worthwhile through to other people, and we become more of a number. Now, when we become this number, it's hard in society, because when we become another number, we realize it. Deep down, we realize we're just another number when we become that amount of money we can make somebody else. And that's what jobs are usually in society. And a lot of the time we start seeing ourselves as that number. What we can provide a company that we're working for, or how much happiness we can give the people that we're around. And we start to not really understand our personal value to ourselves. The personal value that we should accept for ourselves can only be understood on a personal level, because language is a barrier more than it is an aid in situations where you want to die, where you're suicidal. Because language can only communicate people's definitions of words, not necessarily what you mean, and we just don't have the number of words needed to communicate exactly what we mean. So when we don't have people who are empathic, who pick up on emotion and can interpret our words, how we say them, and the exact words that we use, when we don't have people like that around us, which is the vast majority of the time, then people will not understand us, will not understand our pain. And when people don't understand our pain, the pain becomes worse. It becomes amplified. And when the pain is amplified, we think anything would be better than this pain continuing. And it always comes back, though, to purpose. You have to, even if it's just about your job, your career even better, or helping your family, or being nice to people in public, even if you don't have any friends. Just being nice to people in general. There has to be some purpose in your life to drive you forward. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get through the suicidal times, and it will end. Years back when I tried to die, I tried to overdose multiple times, over 2 dozen. And it was always half-hearted because it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to die, it was I wanted the pain to end. So I could have taken a more decisive route, even though I took quite a few things that should have killed me each time but didn't. Even if you are to that level where you feel the pain and you want it to end and you decide to overdose or cut your wrists and try and bleed out, 9 times out of 10 you don't really necessarily want to die, you just want the pain to end. And the pain will continue as long as you don't value yourself properly and try to find a purpose in life. Because, as a schizophrenic, I know of chemical imbalance as somebody who was an addict and is still a bit of an alcoholic. I know that the biochemical makeup of our brain, be it genetic or by choice or by self-medicating, that can put us in a place that is so depressed that we want that pain to end, and that's a whole other level of pain. Not necessarily more than suicidal thoughts in general, but a different kind of pain. And I've experienced both. And one didn't necessarily lead to the other because I started to be very depressed before I ever touched alcohol or drugs. I'm fairly clean now. It's just that there's always that lingering temptation. We have to realize that without surrounding ourselves with the people that value us, without valuing ourselves and without a purpose, it is very difficult to get past these times. This is the first episode in a new playlist I'm doing, basically, called Honest Thoughts, and these are always going to be topic based, but these are going to be very honest thoughts that may be hard for some people to accept and may not be well received by everybody. And I feel more free in this playlist because I can drink a couple beers and I can smoke a cigarette, and it's just pure honesty what I'm trying to tell you. Life is just seeped in pain, and everyone's life is to one level or another, and some of us to a greater magnitude, and some people overseas in third world countries to a whole nother magnitude. But that doesn't devalue the pain that we're feeling. We all feel pain, and no matter what exact magnitude it is, we all have the need to be able to deal with this, to get past it. A reason to get past it is the main thing. And everybody's pain is different. We all experience pain, and we can all experience severities of pain, even when the causes of these pains seem small to other people. They can be huge in our hearts, in our minds, and we can blow them out of proportion, and sometimes we don't blow them out of proportion, but certain things really matter to us that don't necessarily matter to the same extent to other people. You as a person are unique in a way you can't imagine. The exact person that you are is never going to happen again. The human brain especially, is so complicated. It's so beautiful. It's so unique in every single person that if we can find what our brain is best at and what our personality can do, if we really destroy fear and really get ourselves out there, we'll all be able to achieve our maximum potential, no matter what it is. Not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody has to be a businessman. Not everybody has to be the best on the football team. Not everybody has to be the best scholar or the highest ranking in their class. Some of us have more unique features that can be used in different ways, ways in which society really hasn't found a place for us yet. And that makes us all the more valuable, because as society progresses, as we try and become a better humanity as a whole through society, unique people are going to become more and more valuable as we are able to find a better and better place for ourselves in all the things that come with the progress of humanity. Now, when it comes to actually being on the brink of suicide, when it comes to really just being on that cusp, I would always suggest just give it a little time, see what happens. Even if you don't find a solution in that night when you're thinking about it, or in that day when you're thinking about killing yourself, I would highly recommend just giving it some time, thinking about it some more, because you can't take it back, and seeing if something develops in your life that will take away the severe desire to die. Because the person that you are is valuable, even if society doesn't see it yet, even if you don't see it yet. We all have a role we can play for ourselves and for other people, and a lot of these roles haven't been uncovered yet. A lot of these roles haven't been decided upon as far as what society hashes out for an individual to do, to be, because we all live in different societies, and even the most advanced societies don't have all the functions necessary to employ the character that each individual person is. The unique. There's not enough jobs, careers, purposes in society to have everyone be of efficient value for themselves and each other. We're still developing as a humanity, so there isn't enough places for everyone. That's why you have to find how you can use your own individuality to be great, to be, like I said, the best version of yourself. Even if it's not necessarily the job that you really want to be a part of, or the career that you really want to be a part of, figure out how you can use what you have in order to be effective in that job, in that career, and seek your goals with that in mind. And if you do that, then it's far more likely that you will find purpose, even if there is not purpose in being what other people in your family want you to be, being what your friends see in you, because a lot of time people that we know, even that we're close to, don't see in us what we would like to be. Even if people in your life don't see that, try and find your uniqueness and use that to your advantage in whatever you do. And you'll be effective in whatever you do, even if it's not the ideal. A lot of the time we expect too much of reality. We decide that I just want to do this, or this is the image I have of myself. But it turns out that that is not what is needed or is available at the time. And if it isn't, it tears us up inside. It really does. I've been there. And I'm still trying to find where I can be effective in society. And, I'm going back to school. I took a break for a few years. And I am trying to use my talents to find a place where I can live an effective life, but still pursue the spiritual goals that I've always been after, and have the place in life, the amount of money I need, and the amount of collaborations that I need in order to really become the person that I've envisioned myself as being. And it's funny because art has always been my talent as perceived by other people. Drawing, I tattoo myself as well, and different kinds of art forms. But I'm really a philosopher at heart. I have a book called The Code that I'm trying to get published, but it's really hard to get philosophy published, especially if you're a new author, and I'm working on that. That's where I see my place as being, but circumstances have made me realize that I have to use my strengths that are immediately valuable to society. And being a philosopher is not immediately valuable. My artistic talent is, and I'm trying to go into graphic design and the like. So I've had to adapt. And it's likely that you will have to adapt as well. But that doesn't mean that we have to give up on our dreams completely. It just means that we have to use our talents in a different way for a time, and try and use our uniqueness in a certain way. And then once we get far enough along, we can really bloom into the flower that we want to be, that we see ourselves as being. And don't let anybody tell you what you want to be. Don't let anybody tell you who you are, and don't let anybody tell you the kind of life that you should live. Always have your goals aligned with the supreme goal, even if you have to go through a lot of detours to get to that supreme goal that you see yourself as. And we evolve as people. We evolve in how we see ourselves, and we should evolve. That matters. Evolving into who we see ourselves as being is just as important as being effective in society. Well, much more so, actually. But in society, practicality is key. And that's why I talk about using your uniqueness to be effective in whatever practicality you find yourself in the position of in society. This has been a bit of a rant on how you can find purpose and get away from the idea of wanting to die, of wanting to basically end the pain, of not finding a place, of not being able to connect to people, of just all the things that weigh us down in life. We are all weighed down in life to one degree or another, but people who want to die, and I have been in the past many times and tried to die, we feel so intense about that lack of connection to everything else, that lack of purpose in reality, that death seems preferable. People who want to die usually feel more, not less. And we're not given the help that we need the vast majority of the time, and we're not valued the way we need to be the vast majority of the time. So we have to use our uniqueness, find that uniqueness, and use it to the best of our abilities. So I would highly recommend that you find your uniqueness, that you use it, and you find purpose through that uniqueness. And when you do, you'll be able to putter along in your role in society for a while, but always keep that shining star of purpose on the horizon. Never lose it. Never let anybody, society itself included, make you look away from that star, because you are a star and you're working towards your goal. Just find it. Find that supreme goal, and no matter how many detours you have to take, work your way to it. Be who you are. That will keep you on the path to purpose. That will keep you away from death, and that will keep you centered in your own heart. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful, especially if you're on the cusp of wanting to die. And trust me, I've been there. It's not a great place. But, hey, feel free to share your comments with me down in the comment section below. Feel free to message me on Facebook at Hunter Salazar. I live in North Texas. And watch my videos, because I talk about things like this a lot. And I hope that you find yourself. Thank you very much for watching. And live. Be you.